Welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 with your host, Hard Truck One. Hello everyone, welcome back to the farm. As you can see, we're actually really truthfully picking and right off where we left off on the last episode. So this episode we're going to basically try to get, we're basically going to get all the way up to hopefully harvesting this field of lovely soybeans. Right now we're right in the middle, or we're about ready to start uh, fertilizing, doing the second fertilizing on field 15. Hello, little coyote, wherever you are, and all this. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So in last episode, I kind of asked if anybody had any suggestions for a video editor, nice cheap video editor. Now, unfortunately, before you start yelling at me in the comments, like, I commented on the last episode, bear in mind, this episode was recorded the same day that last week's episode was. So I will not be able to comment on those comments in this episode. So that will be in the next episode. Unless I decide to record again, and so you might not see an answer to that for, I don't know, 3 weeks from now. Or 2 weeks from now. So, anyway. Anyway, we're gonna get this going. I have a little bit of a thing to talk about in this week's episode. I talked about in last episode about a couple new series that are coming to my channel, and hopefully you'll give them just about as much praise as you do this one. I said praise, but praise is not the good word. Attention. Hopefully you'll give them just about as much attention as you do this one, as you do this series. But what I wanted to ask is mods for games, really truthfully, and I know there's been a bunch of controversy about it, paid mods versus free mods. Now, I know the controversy is that, you know, pay mods, you get a better quality mod, you get a better quality mod, you get sometimes you get kind of exclusive mods and everything and all that. But I really truthfully want to put this out. What is actually the difference between a free mod and a paid mod? Because if you think about it, a mod is anything that modifies. A mod is anything that either introduces, changes, or modifies the game to better suit the player's needs. Now, take for instance Giant. Giant only releases certain things that they have contracted for. Okay? Case in point, in 2019, you know, we have the introduction of the John Deere equipment. However, we do not have all of the John Deere equipment that John Deere offers. I know John Deere offers a ton of agricultural and commercial grade vehicles that obviously either Giant does not seem like they care that John Deere is in, or don't have the licensing for everything. Now, this isn't about, you know, Giant and having modifications, but I have not seen a game other than watching somebody playing Skyrim I have not seen a game that has been more modified and everything than this game right here. I mean, I have seen players, just regular players, that have downloaded close to 5 gigs worth of mods for Farming Simulator. And the sad part of the thing is 5 gigs. Now let's talk about that. We're talking about actually adding 5 gigabytes, 5 whole gigabytes to a game that is already like 30 or 40 gigs in itself. So we're talking about adding, I mean, now it does actually depend on, you know, how big the mods are and everything. But I'm going to say 500 or 5 gigs. That is probably that's nearly 50 to 60 modifications, if not more. And the only exception to that would be if they're map mods. That would be the only exception if a lot of them were map mods. Now, granted, Giant doesn't have, you know, between this version, the last version, between this version and the last version, I mean, they have what? 6 maps total? 5 maps total, actually, that they actually had. So that's kind of an interesting stretch along that lines and everything. So let's get this unhooked. First off, we want to disconnect that, and then disconnect that, and get in, and then we want to turn off the blinkers. Go away. Well, and then we back into it. That was great, stupid. Anyway, I don't know why I'm driving this over here. So anyway, so really truthfully, I mean, what is actually the difference between a paid modification and a free modification? I mean, I really don't see the difference really because modifications, whether they're paid or whether they're free, they're adding content to the game. So, I mean, personally, I have not bought a mod, so I can't really weigh in on the quality. But what I want to take and weigh in on is, does it actually help the game? Does it actually help the game to actually buy an actual modification? Or is a free version of a modification work just as well? The only difference is you know, it's the content creator that's making it. Are they the ones that are going, okay, well, you know what? I've put a lot of time, I've put a lot of effort in this. I'm going to make it a paid modification because I need money. You know, do they actually need money, or do they just want to or do they just want to get that money out of their quality mod? So that's one of the things that I'm trying to wrap my head around. Why would you need a paid modification if a free modification does the exact same thing? Yes, okay, maybe it might not be the same quality, but I have run across a lot of mods that you never know. You never really know. Case in point, in 15, I came across this John Deere mower, a John Deere swather. I'm going to call it a swather because that's what it is. This John Deere swather that actually was fairly good. The only kind of small thing that I didn't like about it was the fact that the swather head was not as big as the power unit and everything. So I ended up going in, or well, I'm not going to get into that, but I ended up changing it to the way I like. But anyway, it was a really good mod. It was a little weird, finicky, but it was a really good mod. It was really modeled well, and it was a free mod. So what I want to know is that same swather, if it was paid, would it be better quality or just somebody, or was it just gratitude? And we can't sleep right now. Daylight. All right, let me run this up today. We'll get going here. While we're doing that, we're going to talk a little bit about, I think what the next thing we need to do is, so we've got this field, we've got that field. Unfortunately, I think either one of these fields is not going to be flat enough to run a horse thing. So what I would like to do, I think what I would like to do next is definitely we need to get the power unit on the combine. Priority 1 is get the combine. We've got these two fields. They should be able to maintain, we should be able to maintain a good steady upkeep. So what I'm thinking is, that is not what I wanted to do. Pardon me while I run back here. What I'm thinking is that after we get the combine, we need to aim for another field. However, we need to aim for a flatter. Hello, autosave. This is funny. I don't think the autosave system is actually working. Not to get off the subject, but I don't think the autosave system is actually working because the game, I've noticed, only saves when you open up the menu. When you open up the escape menu. It only saves when that. I mean, it's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes can go by. You don't see any indication of an autosave. But as soon as you open this map, it automatically saves. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like that, if it's broken, or just what. So I think the next thing we need to do, we need to find one of these that is not so expensive. Ay, ay, ay. Definitely not that one. Definitely not that one. Okay, well that's nice, but that's not great. That's not great either. That's not great. We need to buy us a flat piece of ground that's fairly cheap and that we can put stuff on. I am not seeing a very cheap ground that's fairly flat. The only one that's really cheap is this one. It's 171. Well, these are cheap too. 137. That one's not. But this one and this one are. But this one's slightly flat, and this one is not flat at all. I think if we go to the if we go down here to the spinner, flashlight. We go down here to the spinner and get myself bearinged. Here. We go over here. Let me slow this down because we're gonna go sleep in a second. Yeah, see, this is not I mean, that corner over there is fairly flat, but this is not really that flat. We'd have to do some terraforming in order to get it flat enough for one. But yeah, I mean, this corner would be about the only flat part. The odd thing about it is we'd be down here, almost right outside of town with a horse thing. But we'd have to drive back up, and probably not even up the dirt road. We'd have to go over and around and up, to sell our horses. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to figure out, is how to get in the horses. All right, let's go back to our house. And let's look at 16, because we know how steep 15 is. 16, I think, maybe 16 right up here by this water tank is the steepest. Oh yeah, okay, so right up here in this corner right here, along with this part, yeah. This is probably about the flattest we're gonna ever get and everything. And that would actually allow us to have 3 fields. So those 2 fields could continue to be in soybeans until soybeans is completely, rock bottom price. And we could use this partial part of the field to house not only a small horse dock, or horse stable, but we could also plant this into, well, what it's already planted in is oats, and be able to maintain a little bit of oats. Any extra oats, we could actually probably go put them in there. And then be able to have the trailer to do soybeans all the time. And the only time we have to do oats is when we run out for the horses. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go back here. We'll just teleport here. We're gonna sleep throughout the night. Now what? 20. So it is 9 o'clock. Yeah. So it's 9 o'clock at night. So we want to go until, oh, right, we got to step back and then step back up. So we want to go, so if we went 12, that would be 9 in the morning. So 9, 8, 7, so we want to go 10 hours. There's our property stuff, but luckily we've got the money for it. There we go. All right. Let's check the crops. Should be about growing. Looks like they need a little bit extra time. Hopefully we'll get to them in a little bit. In fact, you know what? We're going to hop in here. Oh, I didn't realize the lights was on. And we're going to get ready to at least do the little field. How are we doing? We're doing good. I'm going to let them eat down really far. And kick out that stuff really, really far, because I noticed the other day when I redid them, when I did some work off camera, that for some reason I only put in about 1,000. The heck is this bouncing for? Alright, stop. That is the one problem with this one, is it does not like to stop. Alright, we won't sit here with the engine running all the time. But anyway, I noticed that when I scooped up the grain for the chickens and poured it back in, I have like 600 liters more in that trough, from that trough, than I had put in. I think when we actually dumped it in, might look back on an older video, I think I had like 5,000 liters or something like that in there. And next thing I know, when I went to dump it all back, when I dumped what they scraped out back into the trough, I had 600 liters extra that wouldn't come up, that wouldn't dump in. So I have no clue where that came from or how it even got there. So I'm not sure if maybe that's a little bit of a glitch, a bug or something in it, but it sure is kind of puzzling. Okay, what the heck was that just disappeared? Maybe it was a car. It was a car that was driving by. Well, I'm sorry that I would have went a little bit further if I'd have known. Yeah, holy cow, we're up to 2 in the afternoon. Hopefully these will be done. Hopefully they'll be done in the next few minutes, or otherwise I'm going to... Okay, there we go. Alright. There we go, more like it. Let's see, is all of them? Yay, okay. Alright, so let's get started. Probably only going to get maybe this one, if I don't shut off the engine again. Alright, let's get cracking. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna get probably a couple of loads off of this, because remember, I do have a mod. I do have a mod installed that gives us, you know, like 2 or 3 times the bounty. So if it's even working still, I don't know if it's still working. No, I think it is, because I don't think we'd get this many soybeans off of it if it wasn't. This is actually what takes the longest. Now I got to remember that we own that field now, so I might even do this. I might even see if I can go this way. It looks like I can. Might even go this way twice. Oh. Anyway, that doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get all of this field in one episode. But we'll get as much as we can, and then I will I'll either come back in the next episode and we'll finish off the fields, or I'll finish. You know what? No, we're gonna do that. We're gonna come back in the next episode, and we'll finish off the field as soon as this episode is done. Right now I think if I can get up this little bit right here. I'm gonna do another swath this way, and then that way we can swath down. That way we can swath down and not have to worry about running over that field at all. So it's good. Now, I would like to see a little bit of a change in these combines, because as they are right now, they're nice. They're nice. They're fine. They do actually represent the real versions, kinda. The one thing that I would like to see, if it can be done, is if when the combine system is shut off, basically meaning that when that happens, when it turns off and everything, you see the stuff that's still coming out the back, that stuff doesn't continue to come out the back. That actually, really truthfully, if you stop the combine, if you stopped and immediately shut off the combine system, that straw and stuff would actually stay in the combine. Unless you actually sit there for about a minute or two. Obviously you wouldn't want to just sit there a minute or two in game. But anyway, if you let it run for just a few seconds after you stop, then all that stuff would be blowing out of the back of the combine. But if you stop and then immediately shut off the combine system, that would actually stop and just stay in the combine until you started it up again. I know there's limitations. I know there is a lot of limitations in these, but I would not think that coding something like that would actually be very hard. Because, I mean, look at how much other stuff has been coded. I mean, the wheels to take and stop, stay at that direction. When you start moving, they automatically turn back and everything. I would not think that coding something like that in the combine would be that hard. But you know, I'm just saying, I'm not really a coder. I'm a thinker, so I really don't know what is possible and what is not. So, but anyway, unfortunately, folks, we are at that time again. The time to stop the episode again. And while we're emptying this, we'll try to when we come back in the next episode, I can shut this tractor off. When we come back in the next episode, yeah, we'll just continue right here where we're left off with these lovely vehicles. Can I get a... There we go. Look at that right there. So, yeah. So, anyway. So, in the next episode, we'll come back. We'll get the rest of this grain off of this field and the grain off the next field, and we'll see what and where wants soybeans, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Anyway, so I'm Hard Truck 1. This is Farming Simulator 19, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.